Hello everyone, it's your Bud. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Spellplague, one of the coolest things to happen in Dungeons & Dragons, in my opinion. Now, the Spellplague came about when one of the goddesses, Mystra, was killed. Mystra was the goddess who was in charge of the Weave. The Weave is what bound magic to the universe. Well, there is the Weave and the Shadow Weave, but one without the other causes great destruction. So when Mystra was assassinated and the Weave collapsed, so too did the Shadow Weave. Both halves were unable to be maintained and collapsed. The breakdown of the Weave was felt by all wizards across Faerun, and the corrupted madness of Cyric, the one who assassinated Mystra, defiled what arcane forces remained from the dissolution of the Weave, resulting in new magical sources of defiling arcane energy in the form of blue flames that destroyed Dwemerheart and continued to spread across the multiverse. Since the Spellplague was born from the defiling powers of the Far Realm, a realm of insanity, madness, and just pure chaos, a plane that existed outside of realm space, not even Lord Ao had the power to stop it once it had started. The Spellplague manifested in Toril as a storm of blue flames, and in the jungles to the west, it quickly grew to a massive size. Remember, when the Weave fell apart, it was replaced with this Spellplague, this blue flame. So all places rich in magic, including places in nature, became sources of this blue flame spreading throughout the world. Halruan wizards, having divined the death of Mystra and the destruction of the Weave, were able to use the energy of the blue fire to save most of their kingdom by shifting it to another world, Toril's twin world, Abir. However, the remaining Halruan wizards in Toril were laid to waste due to the heavy wild magic activity in the area, and in such a catastrophic way that the explosion was felt as far away as Waterdeep. And many other places were also affected, those lands being transformed into an unpredictable and surreal place, dubbed the Plague-wrought Lands. The blue flames also infected portals and planar gates, spreading even further across Toril. Almost every part of Faerun was affected by the Spellplague, and certain areas were eliminated entirely, while others were created anew. Thousands of spellcasters were either destroyed or went insane due to the collapse of the Weave after Mystra's death. In Cormyr, a third of the war wizards were either killed or driven mad, and those who survived lost their ability to use arcane magic. And even other continents were affected by the Spellplague as well. It was through the planar gates that the Spellplague traveled across time and space and reached the world of Abir. In that world, the Spellplague first appeared in the southwestern region of one of the continents, where it made contact with the ancient Primordial in his great fortress. The fortress detonated when the blue breath of change ran through it in an explosion as potent as the Tearfall, rocking the entire planet of Abir and creating the Glower Barrens, where the old fortress once stood. Lakron was torn apart in a powerful earthquake, and a portion of the nation of Skelkor, where the capital of the Dragonborn nation was torn asunder and disappeared amid the blue fire. That region where the city's citadel of Jared Thymar was located crashed upon Unther, still enveloped in blue flames. Many believed that the Utherites and the Mulharandi occupation forces were obliterated in the explosion that leveled and reshaped the whole region except for the Black Ash Plain. However, it was transported to the lands of Shir, the equivalent continent to Faerun in Abir. That rhymed? The rest of Laracon was sent into the trackless sea, where it subsumed the lands of Mastika. Mastika was transported to Abir, and Lacaron, which became known as the Returned Abir, remained on Toril. So there were many effects because of this Spellplague. Effects on arcane magic, where predicted spells would not work as they were supposed to, and some permanent magic items such as artifacts survived, while others charged with magical properties were destroyed, warped, or simply ceased to function. Some gods died as the result of the dissolution of some home planes, and also the world tree itself was destroyed, and as that was destroyed, many planes of gods were reshaped and reformed. And one god, in an effort to save a pride of lions from the oncoming blue fire, came into contact with it, and it mutated him into a dark and bestial lion with a mane of blue flame. So yes, many of the planes were reshaped and reforged. Even the gods themselves could be reshaped through this blue flame. The blue flame reshaped the lands, affecting it, making the ground rumble and heave up and down like the surface of a sea. Curtains of blue flames swept the landscape, reshaping the land by cutting crevices or lifting and sculpting the plains into hills and ridges. Shards of earth wrenched themselves free and became earth motes, floating throughout the sky, and waves of azure flame appeared everywhere, killing whatever they touched. Rifts opened even in the Underdark beneath the sea of fallen stars, causing the level of water to drop, cutting off many ports from their livelihoods and creating the Underchasm. Humans that were somehow tied to the Shadowfell were affected by the Spellplague and transformed into a new race as well. Mulhorand was completely destroyed, as was the Mulhorandi pantheon. Their land was later settled by the Deep Imaskari and became the Empire of High Emaskar. And Chult itself became a large island when most of the Chultan Peninsula was cut off from the mainland. The sudden shifting of continental bodies sent tsunamis all across the island and coastal regions of Faerun, devastating them all, killing many that remained and cleaning away their advanced technology. And a really unique thing is that the number of people gifted with psionics increased exponentially in Toril ever since after the Spellplague. Some scholars believe this was a reaction against the far realm defiling energy of the Spellplague itself. And eventually the Spellplague ended with the event known as Mystra's Return. The weave was resurrected along with the goddess, and magic became what it once was before the Spellplague, though some areas still remain with lingering effects. So that was the Spellplague, a really unique thing. I really like it. A whole world, actually a whole multiverse that was relying on a certain form of magic had it switched with one from the far realm. A really crazy and chaotic place, very much like the warp from 40k. So if the warp's magic replaced everything that was once calm and peaceful, yes, you can imagine how many of the people went mad just from simply experiencing it. Yes, and that blue flame is super cool. So just another quick video today, but hopefully you enjoyed and hopefully you liked learning about the Spellplague. So if you want to know more, just leave this video a like. A like shows me that you're interested in more of this topic. Subscribe for daily videos. I make at least one video every single day, and leave any questions or suggestions in the comments below. And I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks very much for watching.